It's just there for the taking, either one of them. Just, you have to do something with it.
Now it just slid by on the left-hand side. Again, Joanne says she throws a little bit of a hook. She's not getting an awful lot of movement, but that ball, she missed her mark to the left, and with that hook, she missed the head pin even further left, and then comes back and virtually no movement on the ball that time.
Averages 255 at her home center, the Alexandria Lanes. That's all right.
Average 267 in qualifying in the provincials in Southern Ontario. So
2 pins separating them through 4, with McKenzie up 58-56.
a little better shot that time. Got it out on the lane. A little bit more aggressive. Good follow through and extension. Right hand side leaves that left corner.
And gets it there.
First mark for Joanne Nadeau. And back in this match now. 2 pins behind through 4 frames.
Tapped it, but it just won't go.
A little better reaction that time from Theresa. Got some rotation on it. Left hand pocket, and the ball was actually breaking into the pocket. Pick up how much movement. A little bit. 3-pin cut right in front of the corner pin.
Yeah, it's a much better frame for her. She picks up the spare.
Good spare conversion. Cross lane at it. Just basically dead straight.
Yorkton Bolorama is where she plays. There you go. So follows the spare up with a strike. That's her second strike of the game.
Kind of a low backswing, even though she pushes the ball really high in her stance position, but separates the backswing, keeps it low. Wow, Joanne was quick on the approach on that one. And a quick look at the scoreboard and shaking her head.
Something I mentioned to you in previous week. It is as much, you know, while it's a physical game, it's a mental game. She looks over, she knows she's not generated anything so far. She looks over and sees her opponent, who really, for all intents and purposes, hasn't done much of herself. Now she thinks, I have to press a little harder. I'm going to just, if I just throw a little harder, I'm going to, and look what happens. Now she's got the open in only 87 through 6.
That can absolutely get in your head. You look at the scoreboard, say, you know, I'm bowling not that great, and yet I'm still in this match. Press a little harder at times. Better speed on the approach that time.
So maybe something to get her started. Joanne Nadeau with her first strike.
Pretty smooth 3-step approach. And good reaction.
The winner will play Jennifer Marshall to see who advances as our 4th semifinalist.
Little movement, right hand pocket, kind of thin going away from the pocket, leaves herself a chop off. Should get a good count back on that strike in the 6th frame. Needs the spare to keep the lead in the match. Look out. not a big enough angle when you don't have any movement on the ball. She went straight down the lane at that 3-2 leave. Just punched the 3-pin straight back.
This time she pulls it across and will leave the corner. So follows up the strike. I mean, she had something going. She had the spare in 5, strike in 6, and then comes back with an open just to put the brakes on it.
She's got a little bit of a lead here, but she certainly can't afford any more open frames.
That'll help her. As she sits, Joanne Nadeau will come back with a strike up in 7.
Let's look at how much movement we get on this one. Good reaction, good release. A little bit of a backup left-hand pocket. Ouch. Second head pin for Joanne Nadeau. Also had a split back in the 3rd frame. Looks like she's going to get a start on things. And then she seems to come right back. You know, strike, follows it up with a head pin. Makes a good shot, corner pin spare, follows it up with a 3-pin punch. So she just hasn't been consistent in speed or location.
So much the way that Theresa McKenzie did, followed a strike with an open. It's the same with her with a 10 count.
Joanne Nadeau is running out of frames, though.
Yeah.
9th frame here.
Again with that head pin. Imagine this, Joanne Nadeau. Her high game, 448.
Leaving a corner pin on the last ball.
Can you imagine? Yeah, she's appears just now to be overthrowing things, trying just too hard. If she could, if you could grip it
tighter,
hard
she
tighted,
would.
Yeah, she would.
It's very frustrating. She's been fairly consistent on the middle. She's only actually missed the head pin twice in this game, but she's got nothing for it. 1 strike, 1 corner pin spare. 3 head pins and a split now. Theresa McKenzie can lock this game up. Again, just basically needs to keep this on the lane. Joanne Nadeau with a possible 174. Theresa with a spare here will have 174.
Yes.
Well, 10th frame, just keep the ball on the lane. All she needs is 1 pin, any one.
Well, she wondered if she could compete with some of the top bowlers in the country, and she's showing that indeed she can. And she picks up the strike with her first in 10.
And she's bowled a pretty solid game. 2 head pins, a chop off. She missed the spare on, but she's 3rd strike now. Corner pin spare. Another miss.
Doesn't get any easier for Theresa McKenzie either, with Jennifer Marshall looming.
No, and there's the pressure back on Theresa. As you say, she wins this one and knows that she's got to face Jennifer Marshall, who bowled a great game in the first match.
But a nice finish for McKenzie from Yorkton, Saskatchewan. As really in that second half, she hiccuped her way through the first 4. And then, just the 1-0, and then marks the rest of the way. So a good 219, a nice recovery for that 219.
It was a bit of a struggle, but she hit the middle, reasonably well. A couple of strikes. It looked like she started to loosen up just a little bit. Threw the ball with more authority, more consistency at the end of the game.
And certainly for Joanne Nadeau, not the kind of game that is indicative of her play as she bowls a 159. But again, you can just see just the one strike, except for 2 of them, a 1 and 7, but nothing, no string. Couldn't build any momentum. And Theresa McKenzie now will face Jennifer Marshall here in Calgary.